want me to take everything.
Not based on what you want.
I just be like, I'm doing nursing, what class is doing nursing?
Vanessa, can you hit the lights, please? Hit the lights, please. Hit the lights, please.
In the lights, please. We need a rapper. Is this us?
Yes. Okay. I want you to introduce yourself, your name, and the role you're playing. You're just gonna be saying, "Hey, I'm Madison." And remember. Okay. It's echoing because I'm too close. It's echoing because I'm too close.
Will, I'm a jury member.
I'm Alex, and I'm a jury member.
I'm John, and I'm a jury member. John, and I'm a jury member.
I'm Alexis, and I'm a jury member. I'm Sierra, and I'm a jury member. I'm Noelle, and I'm a jury member.
I'm Cody, and I'm a jury member.
Shelby, I'm a jury member.
I'm
Vanessa, and I'm a jury member.
Oh, you broke it?
Ew, I really hate that. Can we like stop?
Oh, you broke it?
I'm Marla, I'm a jury member.
Harold, jury member.
I'm Candace, I'm a jury member.
I'm Destiny and I'm a jury member.
I'm Tia, and I'm a jury member.
I'm a jury member.
Okay. Enjoy the show. Introduce yourself and the role you're playing.
My name is Madison and I will be playing a judge for our mock courtroom trial.
All right. Introduce yourselves and the role you're playing.
But
Jake Gallagher, bailiff. Christian Ramos, defendant.
Joseph Howell, defendant.
Ashley Putney, Cora. Crystal Santiago, author. Mallory Cannon, prosecutor.
no, he went to get the screen joke. I told you he wasn't in here. He's here, he's here, he's here.
State your name and your 5-year character.
Oh, my name's Xavier. I am the prosecutor on the defense of Arthur, prosecuting Cora.
All right. Just a quick reminder, make sure you speak up a little bit louder, okay? Louder, because the volume is not really picking up so well. All right, Jake, we're gonna start. We're gonna start. Okay, so you're gonna say, all rise, open the door, so she'll come in. Okay.
All rise. Court is now in session. Judge Madison presiding.
Opening statements will be 5 minutes. For prosecution, may start.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the courtroom, members of the jury watching, today you are going to be told a story that is painted in love and caring and protection over a loved one throughout the family. It's going to paint a picture of the defendant in a very innocent type of picture, but I feel as though, and we feel as though the state, that is not the case. And I want to remind members of the jury that we are here for the facts. The facts are that there was a loved one that could have been avoided, the loss of this family here that is suffering, Mr. Studevant and the state. There could have been much more done to prevent this from happening, the loss that we're dealing with today. So I want to again remind you that let's stick to the facts. And although there was love on both sides, that is a fact. Today we're going to seek justice. Thank you.
Mr. Haney, defense, you have 5 minutes.
We of the defense would simply like to say to both the honorable judge and the jury that we will truly defend Cora, an innocent woman, from the slanderous lies started by Arthur over there. That she did not kill his own daughter, but in fact was trying to help her and nurture her in her final hours, and that man, in fact, did not listen to her, even though she persisted time and time again that she was fine. So we would like to show you today, against all they say, that she was in fact the most loving and caring person in this courtroom. Thank you.
All right. Cross-examination of the witness.
Thank you, Judge Madison. We would like to call Cora to the stand, please.
Ms. Jenkins.
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth,
So help me God.
so help me God.
All right.
Ms. Jenkins, do you mind describing your relationship with Jessie to the court?
Jessie was like a daughter to me. I raised her in that household of Miss Elizabeth and Mr. Arthur. From the time she was a little girl, her and my own daughter were best friends.
If you cared for Jessie so much, why were you so persistent with her to tell her mother about the pregnancy, knowing she wouldn't be okay with it?
It was only right. I mean, she was just a child, but she needs her mother.
Okay. So once you did tell her, why didn't you try harder to prevent their leaving or try to contact Arthur to tell him what was going on?
Arthur was out of town. He didn't get back till long after they even returned from their trip. He left no number for me to contact him. I told Miss Elizabeth not to take her. I told her to let her marry Willie. They were in love. A child of love.
When they got back, why didn't you tell Arthur sooner than Jessie's death what really happened? Didn't you feel he needed to know?
Of course he needed to know. But as a woman in my position, it wasn't my place to tell him. I tried to get him to talk to the doctor. I tried to get him to talk to Elizabeth.
Why didn't you involve the doctor yourself if you knew him personally?
I don't need a new doctor. from when he took care of Josephine.
Cora, in your opinion, who do you believe is responsible for Jesse's death?
Elizabeth.
But Elizabeth isn't in this courtroom, ma'am, is she?
No.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mrs. Jenkins, please let me know, how long did you work for the Studevants?
I started with them in summer of 1912.
1912, okay. And how old was Jesse at that time?
Jesse was just a baby.
Jesse was just a baby, all right. So from the time Jesse was a baby until the time she was of 18 years old, 18 years of age, you probably have had enough time to build up a solid relationship with everyone in the family, including Mr. and Mrs. Sturdivant. Is that correct?
As well as I could, yes.
And did at any point in time they not listen to you when you made suggestions around the house as far as, being able to help out with the chores and raising of the kids and taking care of Jesse?
There were often times where I refused to do certain things.
Give an example.
Well, I didn't like that Maytag of hers very much.
Okay. So you spoke out against the household appliances.
Just took too long to do the washing.
Gotcha, okay. So let me ask, you did bring up that previously your own daughter and Jesse were good friends around the same age?
Yes, Josephine and Jesse got along very well.
Gotcha. And so tell us also, Miss Josephine, where is she?
She passed away.
She passed away. And what was it that you may have been doing when Jesse passed away?
I was there with her.
You were there with her? Okay. Did you by any chance have a chance to talk with the doctor, Dr. Siebels?
Dr. Siebels prescribed her some cough medicine, told me to give her a teaspoon once every hour.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, what happened to sweet Josephine?
Your Honor, objection.
Just think.
What does bringing up her daughter's death have to do with this court case? All it is doing is prescribing her with unnecessary stress and not allowing her to be able to perform this courtroom hearing as we need it. I feel like he does not need to bring her up anymore.
I do apologize, Your Honor. My point being is maybe that the defendant has a pattern of negligence that could have left us to
No.
maybe assume
I
that
was with
she
my
could have
daughter
done
every
more.
step of the way. I held her in my arms, but she coughed and died.
And what did you do when Jesse was
I
leaving
sang
this
her
earth?
to sleep.
Sang her to sleep. So you were there during both of those times.
Yeah.
But did you say anything to
But
anyone?
where was Arthur? Arthur wasn't in the room either.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Arthur was not. But did Jessie, by any chance, confide in you to communicate her thoughts and her insecurities with her parents? She didn't confide in you at all?
She
Did you not
confided
have
in
that
me,
type of
but she
relationship?
never. You don't understand Miss Elizabeth. She's a very stern, strange woman. Who tells their child they're a disappointment and ashamed of them?
So you say that maybe you and Mrs. Studevant did not have the best of relationship.
Absolutely.
Did you also have that type
It
of
was
relationship?
one of employer-employee only.
Did you also have this type of relationship with Mr. Studevant? Where you had continuous disagreements?
Mr. Student wasn't the type to speak up.
So maybe we have something in common. I rest.
Cora, how would you explain your relationship with you and Jesse?
When Josephine died, I shut down. I lost so much. I lost my daddy. I lost the man that I loved, Josephine's father, Joe. There was nothing left for me to love. My heart was empty. And then I went back to work for Miss Elizabeth and Mr. Arthur and started taking care of Jessie. She gave me a reason to love again. She gave me a reason to smile. She gave me my purpose back.
Even though you weren't Jesse's mother, don't you feel as if you were one to her?
I raised her. Elizabeth was there in the shadows. I was the one who took her blackberry picking and taught her how to make strudel. I was the one who made her lemon custard when she was sick and not feeling right. Miss Studebaker didn't know that Jessie didn't like peppermint tea.
Cora, how often would you say Jessie would ask you to tell her mother stuff that she was afraid to tell her herself?
Jessie was terrified of being in any sort of confrontation with her mother. Elizabeth was so stern and disapproved of everything about Jessie, right down to her freckles. Jessie would have me tell her about her poor grades. She was such a brave little girl, but when it came to her mother, she couldn't look her in the eyes.
And how do you feel Arthur handled the situations between mother and daughter conflict?
Elizabeth played Arthur like a fiddle. She could do no wrong. Whenever I would try to get him to see what she was doing, he would turn the other cheek.
Objection. Irrelevance. This student is not on trial here.
Sustained.
Yes, she is not in trial. However, her relation with Jessie and Arthur is a piece that is necessary. Because Miss Cora and Mr. Arthur did get along, but not in the sense of where they were able to meet and be able to overcome these conflicts. What I'm trying to say here, Your Honor, is I feel as if Arthur might need to take a stand here for a little bit. Cora, can you please?
You may step down, Ms. Jenkins. Mr. Studeman?
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I swear to say the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I swear to tell you the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Arthur, when did you hire Cora?
I hired Cora years ago, in the summer of 1912.
Why did you hire Cora?
She seemed like a good fit for our family.
Seemed like a good fit. How would you describe Cora's relations with the family?
Thought Cora was caring. She always would look out for Jessie.
When Miss Jessie had ran away from home, who found her?
I believe Cora brought her back home.
Now, if Cora brought her back home, why did you or your wife not go out running for her?
I believe my wife went downstairs to go. I didn't want to have any part of it. I didn't make Jesse mad.
Do you believe that it was right that your wife did not go out and look for your daughter?
I believe I'm just a good husband trying to support my wife.
You see, as a good husband though, if you were a good husband and you are a caring father, you would have manned up and headed outside and looked for your daughter.
Objection, badgering the witness.
Sustained.
Passing judgment.
Nice, I'm just gonna tag him in.
So, Arthur, you would say you're a quiet man, would you not?
I would say I'm a hardworking man and I support my family.
Mm-hmm. That didn't really answer the question. Are you a quiet man?
To an extent, yeah.
Alright. So let me ask you this. Is it not true that Cora right here is not trying to talk to you during this time, telling you to talk to your own daughter, trying to tell you to talk to your wife? Did she not tell you any of this?
Cora never told me there was a problem. Cora only suggested I should talk to the doctor when Jesse got sick.
So you never could correlate this with anything? You could never connect the dots?
No, I never thought there was a problem.
Never once? Did you know of your daughter's relationship?
I did.
Did you approve of this relationship?
We did. My wife and I.
Your wife and you? See, I talked to my own client here, and she told me specifically that, well, your wife was not very approving of it.
My wife told me that Cora is the reason why Jesse was in such a relationship.
Oh! In what way? In what manner?
Cora believed in true love. So Jesse believed in true love.
Okay. Did your wife ever inform you of Kansas City, the shopping trip?
She did mention they went on a shopping trip.
Alright. Did you not find it strange that it came out of nowhere?
No, all my life, my wife does what she wants. I work, she does what she wants.
Would you say your wife is in more control of this relationship than you are, sir?
I believe we give equal.
You believe you give equal? Sir, do you know what happens in Kansas City?
No.
Very unjustifiable things, abominations of God can happen there. And doctors can do things to people that aren't good. Do you know what your wife made your daughter do in Kansas City?
They went shopping.
Did you know, before they went shopping, your daughter, well, she had a relationship with the Greek boy that escalated into passion.
Objection, Your Honor. I ask relevance.
Relevance here is your daughter was pregnant and your own wife had her abort her own child.
Objection, also badgering the witness.
Overruled. Why would you say such a thing about my wife?
Could you never see it? Could you never picture why this was all happening?
No.
The reason why she was dying was not because of an illness, but was because of a physical issue. It was not because of physical issues, it was because of her mental state. She couldn't bear the fact that she could no longer be with the person she loved the way that you said that Cora would inspire her to do. She could not bear the fact she could no longer have a child that she wanted. All because your wife did this to her and you never spoke up about it. You never went to her and talked to her the things she needed.
Jessie was never pregnant. Jessie would have told me. I'm her father.
But did you ever talk to her?
I've talked to her every morning before I left for work.
Did
Every
you
night
truly
before
ever
bed.
listen to Cora and truly try to get to what happened?
Cora never said that Jessie was pregnant. I wouldn't hear of such.
All I hear is words from a coward who cannot speak up at all. I rest my verdict.
Prosecution?
Any questions?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Author, what is your relationship with Cora?
Cora is our housemaid. She's been with us for many, many years.
Have you not agreed with Cora over your wife on many occasions?
Many occasions.
Do you not trust Cora? You do trust her, yes?
To a certain extent.
Would you have not believed Cora if she would have let you know what was going on with your daughter?
If I believed, I would take in consideration. If Cora would have only told me that there was something other than what was going on, I would have done something sooner. Cora never said anything that bad was going on.
Yes, ma'am. So you do agree that if she would have came out and simply said that something was going on, you would have looked into it more, asked your wife about it, and
Most certainly. I trusted you, Cora. How could you let this happen to my daughter?
Objection. The witness just stated, how could you let this happen to my daughter? The witness has just practically said that Cora has not done it herself, but allowed it to happen. Meaning that Cora never, correlated in this event of, Jessie dying, but nearly just didn't speak up to the man of the house who, during this time period, how is the worker one supposed to step up and speak up to
a timid and weak man, yes.
yet their
That has
employer?
been stated in the court
Yet
by
their
you
employer.
yourselves.
How would you go out of your way and speak up to your employer, the one who
A
practically
meek
gives you
man
money
who never
feed you
speaks,
and feed your family?
who she has been involved
Although
with
he is shy,
this many years. Thank you.
Arthur, just wanted to say we're truly sorry about the loss of your daughter. The relationship that Cora had with your wife, it seems at times, was a bit strained. Is that correct?
I believe so. At times it has.
But at any point in time, do you feel as though that strain may have overflowed onto you, that you would have to deal with?
I do.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel as though Cora may have caused a bit of tension in the house?
I do. Just love affair that she wanted my daughter to go forward with, just for our family apart.
Mm-hmm. See. So, in your words, would you say that Cora had
An influence.
an influence, exactly, on your daughter, your wife, maybe yourself?
Yes.
And don't you think she probably have been around enough to feel comfortable and use that influence to sway your mind and let you know that there was something that was remiss?
I do. If she had only told me sooner, Jessie might have been here with us today.
Jessie might have been here with us today had she only told us sooner. Now,
Maybe if your wife was a lying, conniving witch.
that's you, Judge.
Disruption.
Thank you. As I was saying, that influence and waiting and not saying something sooner, I feel as though that may be a pattern that the defendant may not realize that she had. The waiting to call the doctor for her own child, waiting to tell you something, waiting until the very end during the funeral to have an outburst and publicly embarrass your family, all the while bringing shame to your daughter lying in the coffin. Would
The
you
only
agree?
shameful thing about this is Elizabeth.
Dragon.
I agree.
Thank you. That's my case, Your Honor.
You poisoned my daughter
Poisoned.
with your deceit.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'll lose my mind.
Cross-examiner.
What?
Cross-examiner.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Cross-examiner.
We wish to cross-examine Cora.
I'll allow it.
I gotta say about my video, I'm really convincing case right now. Sorry. So, Cora, we've heard what they've had to say, but I do have a question for you because they brought up a point. Did you ever tell him straight out? Did you ever allude to him what was happening?
A woman in my position speaking to my employer in such a way is not acceptable.
I would accept it if you would have
After
told
the
me.
fact, I told Arthur that he needed to talk to Elizabeth, that he needed to go and see Jessie and hear it from her. He never stepped foot in that room.
You never stepped foot in the room, you say?
Hearsay.
Nice. But here's my question for you at the end of the Here's my question for you. The outburst at the funeral, was that an outburst not out of love? Was that outburst not out of rage for the death of a loved one that you personally felt more heart for than the family?
Out of guilt.
Did you do it?
Sorry. Console my client.
Seeing her lying there was just devastating. To see such an innocent child have to end her life so soon because of her mother's pride and her father's ignorance to do anything better for them.
Your Honor, I object. This is speculation. There is no physical or mental proof of my client being ignorant. So this has no place in the courtroom.
Maybe just simple.
I'd like to move forward.
Sustain. Mr. Powell, any further questions?
Yeah, I have a few. So Ms. Cora, we've heard their entire side, but I would like to ask you this. Who has control in this relationship between Arthur and his wife Elizabeth? Who had control?
Objection, Your Honor.
No,
The witness has
overruled.
The witness has
Overruled.
already said that there was
No.
equality in
No.
their marriage.
Inequality.
Would you say there was inequality?
Inequality.
Would you say that Miss Elizabeth here had more power over Arthur than he would ever like to admit?
Ma'am,
Miss
what
Arlen,
relevance does this have to the case?
Elizabeth was the head of the house. She controlled everyone under its roof. Me, Jessie, Mary, and Arthur.
Objection.
Did I speak out
I don't understand what relevance
any more than
this
I could
has.
have?
We'll
No.
see.
But was I the one to drive her to Kansas City and abort her child, causing the infection that killed her? Absolutely not.
Let me also ask you this. Was Miss Elizabeth a major stopping factor for you to fully tell Arthur here?
Objection. Leading the witness.
Sustain.
Bullshit.
Your Honor, the prosecution would like to cross-examine Ms. Jenkins as well, please. Thank you. Ms. Jenkins, I do apologize. I know this is a very hard time for you as well emotionally, bringing up all of these memories. I would like to reiterate the fact that we would like some factual information. So if you could compose yourself and keep some of those feelings down. Continuing with that, you say that there was inequality in my client, Mr. Sudavan's relationship with his wife. What evidence do we have of inequality? Bring that to the court's attention, please.
Arthur went to work every day, but when it came down to it, Elizabeth was the one who controlled all the comings and goings in that house.
Comings and goings, okay. Can you enlighten us further on what you mean by comings and goings of the house?
What happened within the home? Arthur was away at work, Elizabeth took care of everything within it. What she instructed me to do, I did myself.
Okay. That's within the home, though. What all has she instructed?
What else
you
is
to
within
do?
the home of their relationship? What else is besides what's in the home?
Are you asking me? Am I answering
Yes.
you? Okay. Well, I'm not on the stand here, but I do appreciate the effort. The comings and goings, I think, can be construed as people coming into the home, people leaving the home. Did you at any time feel as though you did not have control over yourself going in and outside of the home? Do you feel as though that Miss Studevant had control over you and how you presented yourself to the family?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. But did she fully control your words, the way you expressed yourself?
There is a way that I express myself when I am not in work, and then when I am within my employment, there is a different way we behave, we dress, we speak to each other. Yes.
Okay. Well, I was informed by my client at multiple occasions that there was a conflict of motherly prowess in the home, we'll say.
The fact that Elizabeth lacks such nurturing.
You say she lacks nurturing, but she has two daughters. One very successful teacher, out and about. The other one, the ripe age of 18, met a wonderful boy, going out. Again, Your Honor, I would just like to add that it seems as though the defense is really leading towards a lot of speculation that may digress the courtroom away from
I'm only
the
answering the question.
progress. Thank you. Thank you for answering those. I rest.
All right, now for the closing statements.
To be fair, we were C students from law school.
Closing statements, defense.
I would just like to point out again that our court here has stated how she loved Jessie as her own daughter and how she had to care for her as her own daughter, where Miss Elizabeth lacked that. And I would also like to state and repoint how author here said that Jessie would have, quote unquote, never died if Cora would have spoke up about her unwell-being. I'd like to bring this up because merely her 2 words would have saved Jessie's life. There is no foul play proven that she had anything to do with Jessie's death, other than that she didn't bring up her illness to author.
Prosecution, closing statements.
would just like to point out the fact that the defense has no factual proof of any of their claims, really. It's just hearsay, and there is no proof of it, period. Thank you, Mayor.
Continuing with closing statements, I think we might have digressed a little bit from what we had stated in the beginning of this case and why we're all here, and the job of the justice system is we go off of factual information, not hearsay, not speculation, not opinions or judging one's love for the client or the loss of the life. The fact of the matter is there were multiple times over the 15-year period of Miss Cora Jenkins' employment with my client for her to speak up and have a voice. And she did have that kind of relationship and that connection with Jesse and Mr. Studevant. And I believe that because she felt as though she could not speak up in her own terms, that is the reason why we are here today, when this could have all been avoided and Jesse could still be with us today. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, members of the jury.
The jury will have 10 minutes to deliberate.
All rise.